is the Doublet Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
Good morning, my friends. We are back inside the building once again. Welcome back to Breakfast with Kovu here on Trickstar Radio. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to be jumping into today's episode of the Interview Hour. We're on the phone this morning with someone I've got a lot of time for, someone who actually spent a lot of time with over lockdown in virtual environments, someone whose hair is the same colour as mine, which is an absolute rarity these days, and someone who makes absolute bangers left, right and centre. Man like Cajama joins us this morning. How are you doing, sir?
Yes, mate. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic, mate. I'm fantastic. It's even better to have you on the line this morning. I can't wait to get into the conversation. It's been about a year since we were last on radio together.
Yeah, I think it was just before lockdown, was it?
No, it was just before lockdown. No, it was about 3 months into the first lockdown, I believe, is when we were last on.
Yeah, it was.
And that was on Brekkie in the Cave. And at that point, you were working on putting different tunes together, and you were very kind of studio focused at that time. Since then, obviously, we've got to know each other a bit more. We've spent a lot of time in Discord together. We actually spent, I believe, New Year's Eve together or Christmas Eve. No, it was Christmas Eve together. We actually spent online.
Yeah, that was a messy one.
That was quite a messy one, yeah, entirely. But yeah, talk to me about your sort of lockdown experience in general. Like, obviously, you're someone who is quite well renowned within the bassline sort of scene for making very lively music. Did that ever kind of affect the sort of sounds you were making, the fact you weren't able to go into those lively environments?
Yeah, so basically it's all sort of shifted. Before lockdown, obviously it was like all aggressive. And when I sort of like sat down and had no raves, had nowhere to like sort of get that energy from, it was sort of tricky. I mean, to be fair, I was due like an upgrade in the studio, so I ended up upgrading my headphones recently, and I've just been sort of listening to my old songs, and I'm like, oh my God, I went way too far. But yeah, so recently I've been sort of like working on the technical side of productions and toned it down a little bit, but, you know, without losing all of the energy. So it's like trying to find the perfect balance. But yeah, it's, I mean, I've been making loads of different stuff. Like, I think I've dipped in with house, you know, a couple of EDM bits as well, but just to like sort of grasp where I want to go at the moment, but it's still definitely with bass.
Definitely.
I mean, I've fallen in love with it. It's hard to fall out of love with it. I mean, especially when all the shows come back on. I can't wait to play everything again.
Yeah, I can imagine, bro. I can imagine, especially because you do have a very lively sound. Even if you're toning it down, I can imagine there's still like a sophisticated level of raucousness going on within the tunes you're building. We opened up this morning with the sounds of Verdansk. Now, I feel this is a tune that had a really, really good online campaign. We obviously saw the pictures of the pair of you, you and Skepsis, in the sort of camo suits online. Obviously, both with the bleach blonde hair. Talk to me about this campaign as a whole, because it was very enjoyable to watch.
It was so good. I mean, the label that we released on was Future House Music, and back like 5 years ago, when I first started making tunes, I first started making like Future House. And that was like one label that I was, you know, that was my goal basically, like end game sort of thing. So the fact that it's sort of like come full circle, released on that label, super, super sick. But yeah, they sort of sorted most of it out pretty much. We were going to like try and shoot a music video and stuff like that, but we couldn't actually. It was going to be in a field. But we couldn't find a field because of like COVID and stuff. Everyone was really like sort of uptight with renting vehicles, renting, you know, areas to work in and stuff. So yeah, we just sort of like, you know, put the foot on the brake a little bit and was like, let's do a photo shoot. Because what FHM is providing, Future House Music, is good enough. I mean, it was amazing what they did. They got us on spinning playlists. I think that Showtech as well played our tuners. So a lot of stuff was like getting covered on those grounds. So we just sort of like, you know, we had to do something. And then we ended up booking a session with Elliot Elliot Young, and that day was so much fun.
It
Like,
definitely, I've got to say, it
like,
looked like a lot of fun. Like, I was seeing the sort of Instagram updates and seeing the pictures as they were landing. It was nothing but smiles. It looked amazing.
I know. Well, you know me, mate. It's all smiles, all sunflowers and daisies where I am.
Yeah, it was wicked to see, and obviously, off the back of that, it was good to see you two collaborating. I've got so much time for Skepsis. He's someone who's been on the show numerous times, someone I've caught up with numerous times down here. So to see you two collaborate in a full-on smiley fashion was great to see. How was the response to the tune once it actually landed?
It was amazing. I mean, I played it. It's sort of difficult because obviously there was no sort of shows to hype it up. We started it in lockdown. And obviously we were playing Call of Duty a lot, hence the name. But yeah, so I played it in Jam Season 2, the live show that I did in February. And like the people's response from that was like insane. Loads of people were messaging me, sort of reposting it everywhere. There's a couple of like comments on the SoundCloud post and the YouTube like live stream premiere kind of thing. Just basically saying when's his first tune coming out, and when it dropped, it basically made my Spotify account jump from about 40k monthly listeners to around 80k.
Wow. Wow.
So it was insane. Like, it's the biggest response I've seen on a tune yet, and yeah, I really couldn't have been happier with it.
Amazing, man. I love hearing that though, when people are just genuinely happy with how release plans have gone. And I love hearing about it when the response is so kind of heartfelt as well. And obviously, kind of looking at that, this was a tune released during one of the lockdown periods. And obviously yourself, you were someone who was quite active online during the lockdown period. Obviously, I was sort of on the outskirts of your Discord server. You were getting quite active. Like, were there any elements of lockdown that just from you on a personal perspective that you actually quite enjoyed, or was it still like you were constantly wanting to get back into the normal day to day?
There's always been that sort of like itching to get back to normal. Like since the first lockdown, even a week in, like I got one show cancelled, and I was like, yep, okay, next week let's play another show. But yeah, it's just always been one of them. But I mean, the first lockdown, I'm not going to lie to you, I really, really enjoyed that. For those first like 3 or 4 months, just felt like a holiday. Everyone was off work. So all of my friends, we were all jumping online. I mean, obviously that's when I got to first start chatting with you as well. But yeah, everyone was just sort of linking together. And to be fair, I don't reckon I could have done it without a lot of people. But I mean, the third lockdown, that's when it started like taking its toll. I mean, the last 6 months or so, can't lie, have been quite a bumpy road for me personally. But I mean, everyone struggles. Just got to sort of power through, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel now.
Definitely.
And,
I mean,
that's all that matters.
100%. I mean, we've seen the sort of announcements in the last few days that the 17th is now looking very, very concrete as a date for things to sort of come back. You must be absolutely buzzing to get back out there.
Yep. so excited, mate. I'm starting to taste all that sweat dropping from the ceiling. I'm starting to get that like scent come back into my nose. It's disgusting, but I can't wait.
I can hear it in your voice, man. I can hear the happiness. More than anything else, what are you most excited about being back in the dances? Is it performing? Is it seeing people? What's the thing that you're looking forward to the most?
I mean, it's always got to be performing. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started producing. Like, a lot of people perform to produce, so obviously they get more reach on the productions, but I produce to perform. There's no better feeling than playing, music that people love and seeing everyone go absolutely nuts. Specifically, what I'm most looking forward to is the intros. Just everyone sort of getting gassed, like, like you're standing on stage and, I can't wait to get that feeling again. But, I mean, also meeting people as well. Like, obviously I've met loads of people virtually, but that's virtually. I mean, I haven't met them still, if you get me. So, yeah, meeting people in person. I mean, especially if I've been chatting to them online or whatever. that's going to be really, really good.
100%, man. I think there's going to be so many sort of friendships and stuff that have been formed online that are suddenly going to become almost like tenfold stronger, purely because you're actually going to be able to go to the raves together. You're going to be able to go and see people in an actual environment. I mean, things have sort of been open for the last sort of month or so, or last sort of 2 months, but it hasn't been the same as seeing someone in a dance. You know, it's a very unique feeling, and I feel it's also quite a unique UK sort of feeling. The sort of things that happen in dances and the sort of atmosphere that UK dance floors kind of push forward. Moving forward, though, we are going to get into another tune because we have got some bangers to play. You were very kind to send me over a big pack of new ones, so we're going to get into one of those now. This one, another collaboration with Tsuki. It goes by the name of Pulse. Talk to me about this tune, what we can expect from it, and how it came together.
So this one, we actually started making it before lockdown ever happened, really. Me and Tsuki started chatting quite a lot towards the end of 2019. We just basically started getting really good mates. Went to a few house parties together and stuff. And we were just sort of like, the morning after a house party when everyone's just basically dead. We were just like looking at each other like, yeah, let's make a tune. So we started making. I basically came up, with a couple of chops and stuff, a nice little mellow break, and I was like, is there anything that you can do with this? And basically just sort of built a whole drop around it. We spent a couple of days on a call, and I mean, it was done pretty quick. It was just obviously it took a while to clean up and stuff, but we ended up being able to play that like a couple of times at shows before they got closed, and the reception on it was amazing. Whenever we played it, it got mad reactions. So it was like, yeah, this is a banger. Let's get this out. And then it eventually came out on his album, which I think was late last year.
Amazing.
But yeah, really happy with it.
Well, I can't wait to get into this one this morning. I'm sure it is gonna. For those that aren't awake yet, this is definitely one that's going to wake you up and get you up and bouncing throughout the rest of the day, dude. It's always good to get you on the line, just so people are aware of how they can follow you and the things you're up to. What's the best place to find you on socials?
It's literally everywhere. It's I'm Cajama, so I am Cajama.
Fantastic stuff. We're going to get into this one right about now, and then after that, we're going to get into a bit more of a conversation about what's on the way in the future, what's happening release-wise, and where we can expect to see Kaj as soon as things start opening up again. It's just gone 9:15 here on Trickstar Radio. We are live in the building till 10. This is the interview hour as we continue these conversations with different artists from around the UK and beyond. Make sure, if you haven't already, you are downloading the Trickstar Radio app. It's available from the App Store and Google Play. You can check out all the shows live and, of course, all of the old shows in the archive. So keep it locked and don't go anywhere, my friends. We're in the building till 10.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavors on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.